Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of NAHL Coaches Corner. Well, we have a few new head coaches in the league this season, and one of those is the man we are talking to today. It is the new head coach of the Janesville Jets, Mr. Parker Burgess. Parker, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Alex. Thank you for having me. Excited to be a part of the NAHL and excited to be a part of the Janesville Jets.
Absolutely. Well, welcome to the league. Well deserved. I know that it's been probably a crazy summer for you. Obviously, you were in the NCAA last year at the Division III level. I believe the season had finished for you guys, and then all of a sudden this pandemic hit. And then, you realize a dream of becoming a head coach in one of the better junior leagues. So you've had quite the 3 months here for yourself.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind at times, but it's almost like sometimes it feels like you're trying to take a sip of water out of a fire hose. That's a lot of information, a lot of excitement, just getting to know the players and the league a little bit more. But it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to it, and I couldn't be happier being in Janesville.
What was so intriguing about the job in Janesville? A well-established team now that has been in the league for quite a bit of time. Owner Governor Bill McCoshen, the chairman of the board. But what was intriguing about the organization and perhaps the city and the area?
Yeah, well, in terms of the geographical standpoint, it worked out actually quite nice. My wife and I have been in the Boston area for 5 years, but she's actually from Wisconsin. So it's a bit of a homecoming for her and for us. We're excited to be closer to friends and family, which will definitely be a bonus. But I think in terms of, from an organizational standpoint, I've known the general manager, Joe Dibble, for a long time. And I got to know Bill McCoshen and Joe Pavelski a little bit through the process. And I think the great part about the Janesville Jets organization and their brand is their commitment to development and advancement. And I think, working at the college level for the past 10 years, that aligns pretty directly with my philosophies and my values as a coach. So just getting to know them through the process and seeing their vision for things and how they want to continue the Jet brand, but also enhance it and kind of take it to the next level. And being able to kind of marry the advancement and development side with the competitive success. And they're really excited about the group that they have coming back and some of the newcomers. I've gotten to know a lot of them over the past month or so. And so I think being able to kind of focus around the development and the advancement side while also trying to bring a Robertson Cup to Janesville is something that seemed exciting. And I see their passion, and I've been to Janesville a couple times now and got to know people within the organization and the community. And it was pretty evident right off the get-go how important the Jets are to the community. And my wife and I were really excited to immerse ourselves in that community and try to bring a Robertson Cup to Janesville while moving guys on to the next level.
Speaking of that next level, you've been in the NCAA now for quite a few years as a assistant coach, a head coach, and I'm wondering when you come from that side, and a side that we know each other well. I've seen you at NAHL events all the time. You've been going to NAHL events for a number of years, but now when you were an NCAA coach and now moving over to the NAHL, I wonder if you could put your NCAA hat back on. And from that perspective, what makes the NAHL such a great league for prospects? What makes the league so good from an event perspective and just from an overall perception? What is the perception out there of the NAHL from the NCAA side?
Well, I think it's obviously a highly reputable league. And I think you guys and the NAHL, and I'm so proud to be a part of it now, have done such an excellent job. I've been in the college game for 10 years, and I've seen the league grow over the past decade. And just working with all the coaches and the general managers and the front office staff of the NAHL, yourself included, their commitment to developing and advancing players. It's incredible to see the growth of the league. I'll never forget being at my first showcase 10 years ago, and then where it's come to, where you see all the high-end Division I coaches, you see all the Division III guys there, the USHL guys, the NHL guys, the professional guys. So just the exposure that these players are getting, the coaching, like the level is just elevated over the past decade. And that's part of what drew me to wanting to be a part of the league is just how far it's grown and their commitment to the players and, everything, the professionalism and the the exposure you're giving to the players is second to none in my opinion. And I think the league has done a great job. And again, I just couldn't be happier to be a part of it.
So give us some of your goals here for the 2021 season. I know it's been a whirlwind of a trip for you here in the last few weeks since you were named head coach, but give us an idea of right now what you'd like to see accomplished, both maybe from a short-term perspective and then a long-term perspective.
Yeah, I think, long-term, I've never been a huge fan of having these big, lofty, long-term goals because I think they can be kind of overwhelming at times. I think just like I kind of spoke about, like our organizational philosophy is first and foremost to develop the players, and that's on the ice, off the ice, as leaders, as students. We want to start with the development side, and then I think that just kind of springboards you to advancing players onto whether it's the Division I level, the high-end Division III schools, the USHL. You see all the NHL draft picks, and then also we want to create a culture of it's kind of centered around the player experience. We want to have a really positive player experience where kids want to come to Janesville and they know that the coaches and the organization and the community really care about them and kind of put them at the forefront. So we want to have a really, really strong culture. And that's kind of a buzzword that's thrown around nowadays. And it's easier said than done, but we're going to put a lot of work into creating that culture for our players. And then I think lastly, I think I'd be remiss to say that we don't want to be the first team to bring a Robertson Cup to Janesville. We want to be competitively successful, and we believe we can do that. We know it's in the history of Janesville is to be competitive, and we want to take it to that next level. But I think in saying all those things, we can't lose sight of the day-to-day stuff. Our goal is to kind of just be 1-0 every single day, and whether that's in practice or in workouts or in film sessions or in games. And I think if you can kind of take it, and again, I think another trendy buzzword is trust the process. And again, I think it'll be important for us as a staff to sit down and establish what that process is going to look like, and then impress it upon the players so that it's going to be a day-to-day thing. And I think if you continually do the day-to-day things and you're continually 1-0 in each day, then you have that opportunity to achieve a lot of those long-term lofty goals that I think everybody has on their mind. So we're excited to get started. I think in the short term, we have our first camp coming up here in Crystal Lake, and just been gathering as much information from the players, from the staff, getting to know the player pool a little bit, and then kind of taking it from there.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the short-term calendar here for you guys. Obviously, coming up here shortly in less than a month is the NAHL entry draft. That'll be the first draft that you're part of. Certainly a major way that the team is built, along with tenders, along with the tryout process. And you mentioned the tryout process in your first camps coming up. And I'm wondering from your perspective, why are tryout camps so important? From a Janesville Jets perspective, because those are going to be coming up here in the next 4 to 6 weeks. We know camps are happening. We know they're open, but explain why tryouts are so important in building your roster.
Yeah, I think I'm very fortunate. I'm coming into an environment where, Joe Dibble, our general manager, he's been at this level. He's been in Janesville for a long time. So he's got a really good understanding of how things are done and how to do them and how to build a team. And our associate head coach, Lenny Childs, he's been a great resource for me over the past few weeks. And, he understands how to run a camp and, how to go about the logistical side of things, which has been just great for me. It's not like I've been thrown into the deep end. I've got some great people around me who are able to get me up to speed and insulate me a little bit too, which has been awesome. I think, from our standpoint, having a new head coach in there and a new staff, the tryout process is probably more important than ever. Whether it's a returning player, a draft pick, a tender, or a free agent, it's a clean slate for a lot of guys. And I think that's probably pretty exciting. So I think in terms of importance, the kids can come out and we get an opportunity to see what our talent pool looks like and the competition that we're going to have and the players that are, we're trying to fit into different spots. And maybe it's not just for this year, but in the future. So I think it will be a big part of what's going on in the summer. And I think we're all at this point really excited to get back in a hockey arena and just, compete and get to coach and develop those relationships and again, just be back in the rink. It's going to be something we're all looking forward to from a coach's standpoint and I'm sure from a player standpoint.
Well, Parker, I think one of the great things about the league is the fact that you have this nice balance of veteran head coaches and head coaches that are new, bringing in some new ideas, some new blood, and you're certainly part of that new group that we're excited to have, and we certainly appreciate you taking time out to join us on Coaches Corner. All the best of luck to you here in the upcoming camps, and we will probably talk to you during the entry draft on July 21st. So thank you again for joining us, and congratulations again on getting the head job in Janesville.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate it very much. I'm excited to work in the league, and I'm excited to get to work. So thanks again.
Absolutely. All right, Parker Burgess, the new head coach of the Janesville Jets, here on another edition of Coaches Corner.